Atheism is such a pathetic, worthless worldview. It forces its members to admit that they can't know anything at all. The atheist will say, "You're such a liar. Atheists can know things." That's 100% false, because knowing is a construct of one's thoughts. And if your thoughts don't exist, then there's no knowing. No thoughts, no knowing. The atheist will say, "I agree, but you can't prove atheist thoughts don't exist." Ah, that's true, but I don't need to prove that atheist thoughts do or do not exist for this argument to stand. The point that we're making here is, let me scroll up. Give me a second. The point that we are making here is that atheist thoughts is not that atheist thoughts do not exist. Rather, the atheists have to account for the possibility that their thoughts do not exist. If you have to leave room for the possibility of your thoughts' non-existence, you cannot know anything. Again, knowing is a construct of one's thoughts, and if your thoughts don't exist, then there's no knowing. No thoughts, no knowing. Simple. To compound this problem further, if your worldview forces you to admit you could be wrong about everything you think you know, then you can't know anything. And thirdly, if you don't know everything or know someone who knows everything, then you cannot know anything. The atheist will say, why would an atheist have to account for the possibility that his thoughts may not exist? That's a great question. The reason for this is that the atheist can only rely on subjective reality. They cannot be sure that they exist in a true objective reality. In other words, the atheist always has to leave room for the possibility that their thoughts are simply the product of a pre-programmed computer sequence, which gives the appearance of free will and thought processes. For example, when the aliens in the multiverse cut off the power to this computer simulation, the atheist, as well as his pre-programmed thoughts, which he assumed were his own, both disappear. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. Atheists, no matter how slim the possibility, must take into account consideration all wildish, outlandish claims, such as these and many, many more. Scrolling up, the atheist will say, just because I have to leave room for the possibility of my thoughts non-existent doesn't mean I can't know anything. This is a fail. And I would like to note that now we've come full circle. If you have to leave room for the possibility of your thoughts non-existence, then you cannot know anything. Why? Because as I've already explained to you, knowing is the construct of one's thoughts. And if your thoughts don't exist, you can't know anything. No thoughts, no knowing. Secondly, if your worldview forces you to admit you could be wrong about everything you think you know, then you can't know anything. And thirdly, if you don't know everything or know someone who knows everything, then you cannot know anything. Now, if you disagree, number one, tell me something you can know if you aren't sure you exist in a true objective reality, and if your thoughts don't exist. For example, the atheist says, I can know that the tree outside my window is real. Response, no you can't. Not with the worldview you selected. It could be that the tree is part of a pre-programmed computer simulation that is controlled by aliens in another universe. When they flip the switch, the tree grows legs and walks away, or just disappears completely. Everything you think you know can be proven wrong. This includes your own thoughts. If you can't be sure your own thoughts exist, then you can't know the tree is real, because knowing is a construct of thought. No thought, no knowing. That means you wouldn't know if the tree exists or is real, etc. You see, me, I have the foundation to know things because I believe in God. The atheist beliefs, however, can never be foundation. I'll see you soon. I'm the atheist killer. Atheism is so worthless and pathetic, they can't even know things. What a joke.